Jai Jai Saparikashishri Guru Gaurachandra Ki Jai Jai Shri Giriyaj Govardhan Ki Jai Jai Vishnu Parahamsa Paribhajakacharya Astaterasita Shri Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindade Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Vishnu Parahamsa Paribhajakacharya Astaterasita Shri Srila Bhakti Sri Harinām Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai. Welcome to Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita morning class. Haribol Dandavad. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jita Parikamanam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Sham Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Stam Jivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamshta Om Ajnana Tinirandasya Gyanandana Shalakaya Chakshurunnitam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadam Chikam Haribol. So I continue to read Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is the 19th chapter of the Anchalila, the Lord's inconceivable behavior. And we just heard the speaking of the verses describing the expressions of the Queens of Dvārakā, speaking to the clouds and to the ocean and to the different kinds of birds about how they must be missing Krishna. And there's many beautiful things. And so these are quotations from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which Krishna Kaviraj is referring to show for those who require some evidence that these types of feelings are there in these relationships with the Lord. Text 109. Mahāprabhu Nityananda Dohara Dasera Dasa Jare Kripa Karena Tarahaya Ite Vishvasa. If one becomes a servant of the servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahāprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu and is favored by them, he can believe in all these discourses. This is going on. Shraddhakari Shuna Iha Shrunite Mahasukha Kandibe Adhyatmikari Kutarkadi Sukha. Just try to hear these topics with faith, for there is great pleasure even in hearing them. That hearing will destroy all miseries pertaining to the body, mind, and other living entities, and the unhappiness of false arguments as well. So destroying these things, meaning coming to a higher purified consciousness, because these things may still be going on. It doesn't, sometimes when we think, oh well, how come it says it destroys miseries and I'm still feeling misery? It's not like that. It's the misery is destroyed by the purification of the heart. Not that our circumstances will necessarily change. That can also happen, because we're making better choices with, in our life. Also, when some intelligence is coming on an ordinary level. But that isn't what's being referred to. It is purifying the heart, and therefore coming to a more purified plane of existence. Chaitanya Charitamrita Nityanutana Shrunite Shrunite Judaya Hridaya Shravana. Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita is ever increasingly fresh. For one who hears it again and again, the heart and ear become pacified. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padechara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kale Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. And now, very exciting, we've come to chapter 20, the Śikṣāṣṭaka prayers.
Wow.
The following summary of the 20th chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya. Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu passed his nights tasting the meaning of the Śikṣāṣṭaka prayers in the company of Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. Sometimes he recited verses from Jaya Goswami's Gita Govinda, from Srimad Bhagavatam, from Sri Ramananda Rai's Krishna Jagannath Balabhatnataka, or from Bilvamangal Thakur's Krishna Karnamrita. In this way he became absorbed in ecstatic emotions. For 12 years Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived at Jagannath Puri. He relished the taste of reciting such transcendental verses. Altogether, the Lord was present in this mortal world for 48 years. After hinting about the Lord's disappearance, the author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita gives a short description of the entire Antya-lila and then ends this book. So this is chapter 20, which is the last chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And, yeah, good. And then at the end we hear a whole summary of the Antya-lila. So this is really wonderful. And then what will we do? At the end of this book, what will we do? We'll start again. We'll start again. And hopefully we'll keep doing this till the end of our days. Chaitanya Charitamrita is a great treasure house, and we've only maybe seen a few of those gems. So we will always try to dive into Chaitanya Charitamrita by the grace of our Divine Guru and Mahāprabhu.
So after we finish chapter 20, we're going to start again with the very first pastimes of Mahāprabhu.
Yeah, we'll start on chapter 1, verse 1.
That's so cool.
Okay, text number 1 of the 20th chapter of Antya-lila. Premod bhavita harshel shyod vedadanyarti mishritam lapitam goda chandrasya bhagyavad vir nishevyate. Only the most fortunate will relish the mad words of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which were mixed with jubilation, envy, agitation, submissiveness, and grief, all produced by ecstatic, loving emotions. Jaya Jaya Gaurachandra Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra. And all glories to the devotees of Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. E Mata Mahaprabhu Vaishenila Chale Rajani Divase Krishna Virahe Vivale. Prabhu, may I ask you a favor? Could you get my other glasses out of my purse? It's actually giving me a headache.
Okay.
Okay. While Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu thus resided at Jagannath Puri, Nilachal, he was continuously overwhelmed night and day by separation from Krishna. Svagrup Ramananda e Duijanasane Ratri Dine Rasagita Shloka Ashvadane. Then he tasted the blissful songs and verses with two associates, namely Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. Nana Bhava Prabhura Hasha Shokarosha Vega Arti Utkanta Santosha. He relished the symptoms of various transcendental emotions, tribulation, lamentation, anger, felicity, anxiety, grief, eagerness, and satisfaction. Se bhave nija shloka padaya Shlokera arta ashvadai puibandulanya. He would recite his own verses, expressing their meanings and emotions, and thus enjoy tasting them with these two friends. So the Śikṣāṣṭakam are the only things that Mahāprabhu wrote, these 8 verses. He didn't write any other things. Kona dine kona bhave shloka patana Sometimes the Lord would be absorbed in a particular emotion and would stay awake all night reciting related verses and relishing their taste. Harshe Prabhu Kahena Shunna Swarupa Ramarai Nama Saṅkīrtan Kalau Parama Upai. In great tribulation, Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu said, "My dear Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai, know from me that chanting the holy names is the most feasible means of salvation in the age of Kali." Really note this verse. In great jubilation, Śrī Chaitanya Mahāprabhu said, "My dear Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai, know from me that chanting the holy names is the most feasible means of salvation in this age of Kali. Sankirtana yagye kalau Krishna aradhana seta sumeda paya Krishna charana. In this age of Kali, the process of worshipping Krishna is to perform sacrifice by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who does so is certainly very intelligent, and he attains shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna varnam tviṣā Krishnam sham gopangastra parsharam yagyai saṅkīrtana praya yajanti sumedasana. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons, sumedasa. Sumedasa means a fine intelligence. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. This verse spoken by the same Karabhajana in Srimad Bhagavatam. For further information, see the Adi Lila, chapter 3, text 52. So this verse comes from the Srimad Bhagavatam, speaking about Mahāprabhu.
Is there any mention in the Srimad Bhagavatam about the complexion of Lord Guru-Varga, that he's golden?
Yes, but I forget now. It is Oh, maybe that is, I can't remember. In the age of Kali, this verse was spoken by the saint Karabhajana in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Lord comes in every Kali Yuga to spread the chanting of the holy name, and his complexion is not blackish. But in this age, he is Krishna himself. And then usually he is Vishnu.
So he's usually he's blackish.
No. He in the Kali Yuga, he is usually like the color of a parrot. Kind of like a greenish gold, a greenish yellow.
Mahāprabhu.
Yeah. But in this age, he's golden. In this particular Kali Yuga, he comes in with this golden complexion. And he is giving the chanting of the holy name. That chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is the dharma of Kali Yuga, every Kali Yuga. But in this Kali Yuga, it is infused. That mantra is infused with this highest mellow of conjugal love that he himself has come to understand and to experience those feelings of, the different feelings, and then distributing that in the holy name of Krishna. So this is not this chanting is always in every Kali Yuga, but in this Kali Yuga that chanting is different. What is being infused there is different.
You mentioned that only one day of a Brahman is where Mahāprabhu...
In one Kali Yuga of one day of Brahma.
One Kali Yuga, one day for Brahman. Is that the last cycle of...
Oh, no. Oh. You mean the last...
After once this Kali Yuga finishes, is Lord Brahma gonna leave his body?
No, this is only within one day of Brahma.
One day of Brahma. So
not in the life of Brahma.
So it will be, this Kali Yuga will be the end of the entire cycle?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
There are many Kali Yugas in one day of Brahma. That cycle of the 4 yugas is many. It's only given the number, I forget the number. So many in one day of Brahma.
Wow. Many cycles in one day of Brahma.
Yeah. And in one of those cycles, that Kali Yuga, the Lord comes in this form. This is the original form of God, Mahāprabhu. Radha and Krishna together.
We're so small. We are so small.
Bugs. I'm having so much fun. We're just like bugs. Bugs live like, a couple hours or something.
Hours.
Where do you go? So this is just giving one verse. So in the Kali Yuga, in this age of Kali, the process of worshipping Krishna is to perform sacrifice by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who does so is certainly very intelligent, and he attains shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. And then this Krishna Varnam, Tviṣā Kṛṣṇa, from the Srimad Bhagavatam, that Nama Saṅkīrtana Haite Sarvanardana Sarva Shubhodaya Krishna Premya. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, one can be free from all undesirable habits. This is the means of awakening all good fortune and initiating the flow of waves of love for Krishna. Right?
Right, exactly. Sorry, I just stepped out of the kitchen.
Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreyakairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritaspadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Śrī Krishna Saṅkīrtanam. Okay, Ananya? Yes. I'm going to ask you what I'm reading here. Let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. That chanting is the waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. That means it makes it bloom. It is the life and soul of all education or knowledge. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste full nectar at every step. Which verse of the Śikṣāṣṭakam is that?
I don't know exactly what verse, but it is talking about just all the cleansing and purifying chanting the holy name.
Yes, and it is the first verse.
Can you explain to me what exactly is the mirror of the heart? What does it mean by that?
Well, when you look in a mirror,
Uh-huh.
you see yourself, but this is the mirror of the heart, not of the mind.
So is it a fun mirror, or is it like a, like what is it?
In other words, we cannot see who we are.
Ah.
And we don't see clearly. And this chanting cleanses that mirror
Okay.
of all these misconceptions. And what is the source of misconception?
Ourselves.
Yeah, we are trying to exploit.
Uh-huh.
And in order to exploit, we have to dumb ourselves down pretty badly.
Oh, yeah.
We have to believe all kinds of things that are very clearly, obviously not true. But we don't want to see them, and we don't.
Exactly.
So we have all kinds of lies and manipulations and deceitful behavior and all kinds of junk on our eyes, or on the mirror, you could say, that we do not understand who we really are in relation to the center, in relation to the Lord. And that's pretty clear, right?
Yes.
And we can all relate to that.
Indeed.
Saṅkīrtana haite papa samsara nishan nashana chitta shuddhi sarva bhakti siddhana udgama. By performing congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, one can destroy the sinful condition of material existence, purify the unclean heart, and awaken all varieties of devotional service. Real devotional service. When the heart is cleansed and all the sinful conditions of material existence are destroyed, then that awakening of so many varieties of devotional exchanges with the Lord, so in loving service, can be awakened. Krishna prema dagama premamrita asvadana Krishna prapti sevamrita samudre majjana. The result of chanting is that one awakens his love for Krishna and tastes transcendental bliss. Awakens it. That means it is completely natural for us. It is natural for all existence to love Krishna. Ultimately, one attains the association of Krishna and engages in his devotional service, as if immersing himself in a great ocean of love. So, in this plane of existence, we want all living beings to worship me. All existence should be there for my enjoyment. And everyone's thinking that way. And it creates all this disharmony. Because it's all wrong. But when all living beings are serving Krishna in love, who is actually the center, then it is all harmonious. There's no fear, there's no apprehension, because it is all service. This is the universe of giving. There's no, I can't, there's not any lack of opportunity for giving. But there's lots of lack of opportunity for taking. Taking is unnatural for the soul.
How about taking the reciprocation of the Lord?
Of course. You practically don't have any choice. When the Lord is reciprocating, that is
what's happening.
A little, yeah. And we need to, that's very good what you just said. We need to cleanse our eyes consciously by submitting ourselves to the lessons that the Lord is sending. And then in purified condition, that becomes very rich reciprocation in different kinds of relationships that are so natural for us. This is all unnatural. All of it feels unnatural. You have to take birth in this really hellish way. And then you're growing up, bang, bang, with so many lessons coming from our previous lives. And it's all unnatural. And the body that we want everyone to worship is rotting. And then if we're super attached, we get like a surgery to make it look good. It's, very, very troublesome to maintain this lie. Mm-hmm.
Can we please talk about our free will and the Lord's will? When we see our environment in this world, the civilization, the countries, technology, cities, cars, businesses, that has been perpetuated by the collective consciousness, the collective exploitative consciousness of the civilization. And yet at the same time, everything is there to fulfill the purpose of the Lord, for the play of the Lord. So
yeah, I understand. Okay, so this is something I was talking to Christian about too. He's asking that same kind of question. And it is a very, it's quite an obvious question. So Haraye was asking, so everything exists to fulfill the purpose of the Lord. But here we are in this plane of consciousness where everyone is conflicting, or we get along somehow or other by some social norms or scriptural norms. Yeah. But we're all simply trying to exploit. Yeah. So how do those two things go together? Am I right? Is that the question? How can we say that this plane of exploitation, where we're all completely self-centered and suffering from the slaps of that, how can we say that that is also fulfilling the purpose of the Lord?
Yeah, exactly. That's the question.
So it is a question of consciousness. It's a question of perception. And this is an important question. Guru Maharaj is saying that it's like a film over reality. This Maya is an option. It is a thing. It exists. But it exists in the plane of consciousness. And we are living in that film over reality. And many others are also. We're all living in a plane of consciousness which is covering our eyes to see reality. But when that covering is removed for a moment or forever, we will see a plane that is fully imbued with devotion. We will see reality. But right now, mostly we are seeing our mind. That's what we mainly see. And the projection of the mind. So we're not seeing that thing, that everything is there to fulfill the purpose of the Lord. We can't see that. It's like Gurudev said, I've got that quote, I printed it yesterday. He's saying everything is transcendental, but we are not able to see this in our present condition. Therefore, we must come into the plane of consciousness. And through meditation on the holy name of the Lord, but really meditating in a mood of service and surrender, and meditating that this is all for you, my Lord. I recommend this very strongly. When we see something that is beautiful to us, attractive to us, tasty to us, tasting with any of our senses, something that sounds beautiful, that smells beautiful, that looks beautiful, that tastes beautiful, that is pleasant to sense and touch like a nice breeze. Meditate out loud or out loud in your mind. This is for you, my Lord. It all exists for you, and I exist for you. You must do this, and your mind will really not like that. And then you can look at your mind and go, I see you. I see you. I see what you are. And just say it. It is all for you, my Lord. This is all for you. Then you can begin to enter the plane of consciousness, where everything you can see, the plane of reality, where everything is conscious. It knows it's conscious, and it is all serving the Lord. That's called reality. And it is there. You don't have to go somewhere else. We have to cleanse the mirror of the mind through meditation on reality. I strongly recommend this. Meditate. This is yours, my Lord. It is not existing for me. And the mind will go, well, what about me then? What am I going to do? I'm not going to see anything nice. I'm not going to do... It's all a lie. You will see something so much sweeter than what we know now. A plane of sweetness where everything is serving. And Guru Maharaj said, very affectionate to you. Very affectionate. All greater than you. All guardians. This is the family life. Real family life. And it is all around. There's no conflict between my family and someone else's. This is all, the whole of existence. It feels like family, like guardians, everywhere. But then the mind, we have to, even if we somehow can appreciate that, but then some other layer of illusion will come up through the environment, poking at that we didn't even know was a problem. That will come out, and again we must bow down. My Lord, this is your grace, and this is good for me. I bow down to you. What is my service? Show me my service. What do I do now? What is coming to me in the plane of seva? Through this poking by the environment. This is our sadhana. And it is really important. Otherwise we can be dancing on the surface of devotional life. And it has its, I'm not trying to, but Srila Guru Maharaj said, this is not what we're doing, it's just doing things. We must meditate on surrender. We must. Then we will come in touch with that divine plane, actually. And it will go beyond the plane of theory. And we will see the difference between the plane of the conditioned souls, all living in this little, film. There's a film over reality. And we will see what reality really is. That reality is for Him. He is reality. What else will reality be for? Something else besides reality?
Absolutely. That has helped me in my very short time of practice. It has helped me a lot to see many things. And I would like to add that beyond meditation,
beyond what? Meditation.
Meditation, from my experience, it requires responsibility.
Yes.
To say this is for you, the responsibility to sacrifice.
Very good, Prabhu.
And I've realized that I don't have the will of sacrifice, my own desires and enjoyment for the Lord. Since my faith is not that great, so what is the advice then to become more responsible when we are meditating on this is for you? Because I guess the Lord is going to put us on a test, and I can say all of that this is for you, but actually my consciousness is, I'm saying this because I want the best for me. It's not actually for you. So with this low level of faith, what can we do?
Well, just, we have so many things that are recommended. Chanting holy name and with others. We have temples, and we are living here and taking so much responsibility, and attending the puja, engaging in puja, cooking for the Lord. We have so many different things that we're doing. Taking care of Tulsi Devi is very auspicious. These are all auspicious and helpful. And the most important is hearing. We have to keep hearing about this. And then engage ourselves according to our nature also. Very important. You have some particular nature. We want to engage ourselves in the Lord's service and that. But that must be done imbued with the mood of surrender. It has to be. And then it really, Guru Maharaj said, it is like an elevator, straight to the, or a shortcut. He said, it's a shortcut to connection with the Lord. So we really, really both of those things are necessary. We want full engagement, especially, those who have some studying tendency to read the books. Read them. Meditate on them. And, we don't want to starve. We have to take nice prasadam and be with our friends. Sometimes we want to go for a walk or go and do something with our friends, but wholesome behavior. Wholesome. Not anything dangerous to my conscience. Nothing that is going to be harmful to me. And associate with those who want to associate in that wholesome way. Don't associate with the lower parts of people. And you can say, no, I don't want to do this. It's not good. I don't like it. It's degrading for my consciousness. So let's do something else. You have to take care of you. First responsibility. Put your mask on yourself before you put it on others. One devotee came to Srila Guru and said, we're having so many big programs here and there and there. He said, but what about you? What are you giving? Are you also, finding what Krishna consciousness is for yourself, or are you only spreading something superficial? So first of all, we have to get something before we can give it properly. So we're working on that very much. I don't know if I answered your question.
It is extremely nourishing and it's beautiful at the same time.
Yeah. And it's hard work, so what?
Yeah.
Well, not really. I feel for me, a masculine person can do something hard and elevate his consciousness. Just self-indulgence, that does not seem masculine to me. So I'm the masculinity of man means something strong. Not a wimpy little, I want that, and I want that. And it's not, also in women, feminine qualities. Intelligence, good speech. We all have to work on becoming noble in our lives, and that takes sacrifice. People like Srila said, for God and country, for queen and country, or king and country, the British Army stood at the edge of the Sahara Desert and started marching. Sacrifice. But for what? For king and country. And we have trouble getting up in the morning? Come on. You know what I mean? I have to do something. Good questions. And we'll read now from Brihad Bhagavatamrita, but we can also read tomorrow.
Okay.
So we'll have our full time. Is that okay then?
It's wonderful. And then coming back to the first question, if I decide to indulge and do it for my own purposes, forgetting forgetting reality, then how could that be part of his play? That, by the way,
I'm not sure about the question. They can't really hear you in the kitchen.
I
Sorry.
Reformulating my question, and by the way, what we just spoke about responsibility, sacrifice, faith, that was way more important than my first question.
Can you hear in the kitchen his question?
No, 1 second. What's the question?
Wait, my bad. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So actually, we talked about a lot. So I'm just gonna ask this question.
It's no problem. It takes a few questions to clarify this. This is not an easy subject, actually. So go ahead. Don't worry about it.
Well, before asking the question, just want to say that Sharanagati, surrender, and trying to meditate that everything is for Him requires also responsibility, since it's not only like imagining it, but taking accountability of that. For that, it requires some faith and sacrifice. And what you said about that is actually the nourishing part of this conversation. But going back to what started this conversation, which was how's our own will for exploitation fulfilling the Lord's purpose. So I was giving now an example that if I decide to do something for my own pleasure, like indulging, for example, violating one of the principles, and forgetting completely about the reality, how would that be fulfilling the Lord's play, the Lord's purpose?
Wait, I'm confused.
So Hariye is saying, again, like coming back to the first question, he wants to clarify that again. And it isn't an easy question. It's how is it that how can suddenly self-indulgence be fulfilling the Lord's desire?
Since everything is supposed to be already there for the Lord, right? Including myself. But if with my free will I indulge, then how would that be fulfilling the Lord?
The problem is with free will. Guru Maharaj said that's the whole problem. That we have free will. That is also by his desire. We have free will. And we can do what we want. And he's giving us a whole world to forget him in. So how can that not be under his will? He's giving it. Icchanurupamapi yasya Tviṣā. Means that Durga Devi, Maya Devi, she's acting under his, to fulfill his wishes. She has no independence. I mean, she has, but she's completely the servant of the Lord. But this is indirect. And we, bouncing around in the bottle of this little bugs in a bottle, we are also banging against each other and teaching each other lessons. Either knowingly or unknowingly. But this is not happy. It is indirect. And we are suffering a lot. And the Lord doesn't want anyone to suffer, but we have free will. And He's giving us the ability and the facility to do all kinds of things that cause suffering for ourselves if we want to. And we do. We are the cause of it. He's not the cause of that directly. But He's giving us facility for that, if that's what we want. And also He likes to rescue us. This is also joyful for Him. It is our fault that we would choose this way. But He's also very joyful when He can rescue us from our own decisions. But there's nothing outside of His will. But that very astonishing thing that we, as microscopic souls, have free will also. We're part and parcel of the Lord. There's no such thing as an individual or consciousness without free will. Try to conceive of it. Try to conceive of an individual without free will. If there's no free will, there's not even a person there. It's just an automatic phenomenon.
How about a rock? Or
some rocks are living, some aren't.
Some aren't?
Yeah, some are conscious and some are not. And there are those who know how to tell the difference.
Wow. But if everything is... I was reading this book by Srila Prabhupada, Easy Journey to Other Planets.
Uh-huh.
And he was explaining... He was presenting Bhakti or Krishna consciousness to a scientific audience.
Mm-hmm.
And he was explaining about the concept of anti-material worlds. That these scientists found out in the 59 about antimatter. And they were, wow, every matter has the opposite, his opposite qualities, that's antimatter. So that means that every particle of matter has to have an antimatter properties, and that's the superior type of energy. So how is that a rock is not consciousness? If it's matter, then it should be perpetrated by
behind that is all consciousness. Behind that, but we're talking about, so in the relative point of view, we're speaking about a relative point of view. So so within the plane of consciousness, which is material, there are certain phenomena. And within that plane, there are objects which are not living. There's no soul there. But that is in a plane of consciousness. And then there are those who are embodied, that there is like a soul can have a rock body. And there are symptoms of life. They're growing. There are mountains that are growing. And then there's dead. There's many things about this. There's all kinds of subtle things that people are not perceiving. But even in ordinary Indian culture, there are persons who can tell the difference between a living rock and a dead rock. But this is in the relative plane. This is in a certain plane of perception. In a deeper plane of perception, there is nothing unconscious at all. There is no such thing as unconscious. That is really truth. But we're living in a different kind of conscious plane. And that is within the mental plane. Anyway, this is a little detail. But when we're reading, we can pay attention to this. We can pay attention to when Guru Maharaja Srila Gurudeva Prabhupada are talking about this kind of subject. And so what is giving life to a thing is the presence of the soul. Right? That's life. When the soul is gone, I was there when my mother passed away, and it was like her body just deflated. Like when you take off a shirt and drop it. There's nobody in there anymore, they just...
Wow.
Yeah, it was a real obvious thing. She was gone, there was nobody there. We just fell down. Like you take your hat off and it's just on the floor. That's exactly what it was like. So the symptom of life is caused by the soul. And when the soul is gone, then it becomes on that level, the body is no longer has any consciousness in it, right? So some rocks have no soul, and some have a soul. And that is a fact in this plane of consciousness. There are living things and not living things, meaning there's some things embodied, some things not embodied. But on a deeper level, it's not to do with anything real at all. There's no material concept there. And everything is religious. But we have it's not the same as seeing with material eyes. You can't see that with material eyes. If we have any tendency to exploit a thing, we can't see it. For what? We can't see the reality of that. We can't. You can't approach reality with the mood of exploitation. You can't. It's impossible. It cannot be abused by us. This is a plane of abuse, exploitation. Reality will never be, it cannot be abused. If we want to be abusive, if we want to be exploiters, we will live in the plane of illusion. And there are relative things to be discussed within that plane, but they're not that important. It's all mental. It's all mental. It starts with a Ahankara, and from there to mundane intelligence, and from there to the mind, the mundane mind, and from there to ether, air, fire, water, and earth. Those are projections from the mind. The mundane mind will see mundane things. That's all coming from the mental plane. You see, illusion has its development in that direction. But that is all from illusion. It starts with Ahankara. I am the doer. I am the enjoyer. Then that develops into all these other things. So these are projections of the plane of illusion due to free will, due to desire. So you understand that's all within illusion. And then it has its little rules and laws. But beyond that is none of that. That's a development of an illusory consciousness. So there's a different development in the upper plane. And the first is Vasudeva. Or the first is, you could say, that everything is of a divine nature. But beyond that is Vasudeva, which is the super soul. To see the Lord everywhere. But that is a plane of awakenment. This is a plane of development within illusion. And it has its laws. But the divine plane, is not affected by these laws at all. So when one can perceive that, these laws are not acting in that plane. We need to practice coming out of mundane consciousness. And we have to keep doing it. And, we just forget, there's a beautiful sunrise, it's so beautiful, I'm enjoying it so much. And nobody can say it's not beautiful, but that beauty, we must go into the plane of consciousness to really understand what beauty is. And what is the plane of consciousness? Devotion. It will not show itself to an exploiter. We cannot cheat that plane. If we want to cheat, we're going to be in a plane of illusion. We fall into our own illusion. We're the victims of our own exploitation. So there's a different development, one going downward, one going upward. And the downward has its laws. You do this, you get this, there's a lot of karma. Time is the punisher. Time with his sickle. It's an interesting thing how they always depict time like a punisher. Time, I am destroyer of the world, and I come to engage all men. How? Karma. Time is the development of karma in this plane. And in the upper plane, time is the servant. Pastimes. Things all beautiful. Everything is divine in reality. And here it has its laws, but those laws are not pertaining to reality. So when we're talking about these things, it's two different developments. One law here and no law there, really. It's only love. There's no law. So it's two different planes of consciousness that I'm speaking about. Thank you for asking that. It's really good to develop that as a, because, yeah. I remember my sister told me one day, it's getting late. My sister told me one day she became an atheist. She's a scientist, right? And she became atheistic. Oh, we all know all about this. This is this and this is that. And what does God have to do with anything? And then one day, she told me about this. One day her neighbor came and said, oh, my son, he's become a lawyer and he's just cheating everyone and he's just become this horrible, degraded person. And she was going to tell her one answer that was very atheistic. And instead, something completely different came out of her mouth. And she said, the lady was saying, I think he's going to go to hell. I think he's just losing his life, losing his soul. And my sister didn't know she was going to say this, but she said, well, the laws of God and the laws of this world are different. And then she went, that's it. That's it. We're just looking at laws of this world. God isn't stuck in this world. He doesn't have to. These laws are not about him. And she became very, very religious. But that little thing, that little division, helped her out a lot.
Is that the Nirguna plane?
Well, not exactly. I mean, with all due respect to my sister's case. But at least there was some theism there. She could see these laws have been put here for us, but he's not under those laws.
He's a dictator.
Yeah, and she's seeing the God in heaven, and we follow him, and we'll come out of this kind of plane of sinfulness and go to the heavenly things like that. That's her. But it's at the same time that was a revelation, and it came out of her mouth without her knowing it that she was going to say that, and it really surprised her. So some past faith came to save her in that. To some degree, but she's a good lady and everything. I'm not saying anything bad, but that's a certain development, but it's certainly better than nothing. And so we're trying to go to the perception of reality, divine reality. And the laws of this plane of illusion are not pertinent there at all. There's nothing.
Would you say
without the laws of God, like the laws that God has set in place, without that we wouldn't have anything to compare our laws to. Like there wouldn't be even a standard.
No, it's absolutely true.
No.
You take theism out of any society, and it goes to hell in a moment.
Because
there's nothing to by which to.
There's no idea of good and evil.
Exactly.
Or morality.
And you look around.
Yeah.
The atheistic tendency of this world right now is, I'm just saying, it's making a very hellish situation. Because there's nothing by which there's no truth by which to measure anything. Everything is just whim. And so it becomes like a jungle quickly. It doesn't take any time to go down. It takes a lot of time to go up.
We're starting to see that in the Western civilization in this country. If you have a different opinion to mine, if it doesn't go like I want, then I'll just kill you. Asura.
Yeah, it's an Asuric thing. So there's the theistic tendency, and there's the atheistic tendency, and they're really at war right now. But we're not going to involve ourselves in that war on that level. But we're trying to give what Mahāprabhu is giving, which is beyond anything. It's beyond anything, no comparison. But still, it's interesting to observe that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe there's a silver opportunity.
Sure, for those who are searching, getting desperate. Yeah.
Because amongst all these people, there might be someone who can.
They can hear you in line on.
Yes.
Okay.
Amongst all this ocean of people that are entangled in their karmic activities, some of them might be looking for Guru and Guranga and how to serve.
And we're trying to distribute sincerity through Harinām Saṅkīrtan, Prasādam distribution, all these things. This is giving Sukriti to people. And by Sukriti, the development of Sukriti, one's intelligence comes to the point of looking for the sadhu. Comes to the position of faith where one can see, I need this thing, I know it's there, and I need to find that. That's faith. Faith is, I can see something, I know it's there, I must find it.
So observing how the situation in the world is to give us some purpose, some self. Maybe I want to tell this. This can help a lot of young people out there that have no point of reference.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And talking about what started this conversation, in order to give it, we must first try to get it.
What's that?
In order to try to give it, we first need to get it. Get it.
Yes. Save yourself. Then you can save others. If you must be in a position where you're not drowning to save a drowning man.
Or like the example, like when you're on the airplane, you have to put on your mask first.
Yeah, I also thought of that.
Yep.
Put on your mask before you put on the mask of your child, because if you faint, who's going to save your child?
Yeah. Jai.
Hari Bol Janshi, Brihad Bhagavatamrita. We'll read that tomorrow. We'll read it tomorrow. But good questions, very good questions.
Thank you. It was nourishing to hear it to move forward.
Hari Bol Janshi. Hare Krishna.
Haraye Madhavaya Madhavaya Kesavaya Namaha. Gopalundaya Madhusudana. Giridhari Gopina Namokana. Chaitanya Shri Advaita Chandra. Guru-Varga Srila Bhagavatamrita. Jai Guri Charana Vandana. Jai Tirigana Sampurana. Jai Gosai Jaya Mohitara.
Shri Panuga Guru-Varga ki jai. Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Namacharya Śrī Harinām Saṅkīrtan ki jai. Sadgoswami Prabhu ki jai. Saparshad Shri Mahāprabhu ki jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Shri Śrī Krishna Gopa Govindam Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ju ki jai. Jai Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Tviṣā ki jai. Śrī Chaitanya SCSMission Utah. Kolkata ki jai. Harinām Saṅkīrtan ki jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitya Dvaka
Hariho. Jai Srimati Śrīlekha Didi ki jai.
Samudra Bodhis ki jai. Jai Guru ki jai. Hariho.
And to those online devotees watching us, ki jai.
Jai.
Hariho.
Oh, I want to hear who's there. Who's there?
Well, it's a mystery.
Because I just want to.
Okay. Bhima Krishna Prabhu
Jai.
and Q. And then two other viewers who only the Lord knows who they are. Hariho.
Hare Krishna.